一个是我们有一支队伍获得了这个全球的高中生投资竞赛第1名，全球冠军。我们有2支队伍进入了 Top 10，然后呢，同时有18支队伍获得参赛证书。那么这个成绩是从全球6000个非常优秀的高中生队伍之中脱颖而出的。然后同时呢，在今年这个4月份，我们也把8支队伍送入了这个 Diamond Challenge， 然后有2支队伍进入了这个半决赛。那 Diamond Challenge 呢，也是一个在北美地区非常有名的商赛。那同时呢，像我们今年春季呢，就开始了这个写作竞赛的培训。那么我们今年有1名学生参与了我们春季的 New York Times Editorial 的 Contest， 然后呢进入了 Finalist。那么这位学生呢，也是从12000个这个写作提交的里面入选了这个 Finalist 大约每年都是100人到120人左右。我们在过去2年中呢，也非常高兴。也非常荣幸的能有这个机会培养了超过3000名的学生，然后也希望能为北美华人提供北美华人及北美的这个学生提供最专业的这个理财演讲辩论、创业创新还有写作的课程。对，像我们刚才我也提到了，像我们思慧其实一直关注的是青少年软实力的提升。我们的确没有像其他的一些机构只提供什么像数学、ICT 等等的，但是我们会提供一些像财商教育、领导力教育、创业创新教育、投资教育，还有演讲辩论、写作等等 communication。那么我们是希望弥补尤其华人的孩子在北美的华人的孩子这些上面的这些缺失的部分，然后呢提升自己的软实力，同时呢在未来的升学，在未来的这个之后的工作生活之中能补足这个短板。那我们说到夏令营呢，今年是我们思慧第1年举办了这个金融创业夏令营。那么我们带领了65位孩子，然后在纽约的上周进行了2周的夏令营，而且这2周的学习生活都丰富多彩。那么不光是每个孩子学生65个学生分成了这个17个组，17个不同 team。初中有9个 team， 高中有7个 team， 然后初中有7个 team， 高中有9个 team， 然后呢分组呢进行这个商业计划书的准备，商业计划书的这个筹备，然后并且在最后一天做了一个非常优秀的这个 business pitch。然后同时呢，在日常生活中，大家也可以看到一些图片，孩子们在野外生存训练，然后再去 Rafa shooting。还有 kayaking， 然后还有篝火晚会，还有锻炼。然后呢，像右手边的这些呢，就是孩子们做的，通过这2周时间内，利用自己学到知识进行的这个 marketing strategy 的分析，然后进行的自己商业计划书的制作，同时呢，还有这个网站的制作等等，都是非常非常的优秀。然后我们的孩子还有一张中间这个呢，就是孩子们在纽约市，我们带着一半的孩子在纽约市进行这个游览，然后参观。对，这是我们的夏令营2周。然后呢，与此同时呢，我们也在筹备明年的夏令营。如果感兴趣的家长呢，可以添加我们的小助手，然后来了解更多的详情，有关明年的这个夏令营的详情。那我现在就会介绍到这个 Pep 老师。那我们的 Pep 老师呢是哈佛大学辩论营的公众演讲与辩论项目的主管，他也是美国文理学院公共传媒的教授，同时呢，他还是全美演讲与辩论联盟 NSDA 的前大学机构合作主任。同时呢，这个 Pep 老师现在还是 NSDA 的这个辩论联盟的裁判之一。那 Pep 老师有25年的英语演讲和辩论培训的教学经验，是非常简历是非常优秀的。那Matt 老师也是我们授课的老师，只不过 Matt 老师今天有事情没有办法出席但是呢，这个Matt 老师呢也是哈佛大学辩论营这个公共演讲与辩论的导师。那么他也指导学生在州以及全美辩论赛中获得了多个奖项，拥有超过15年的英语演讲辩论培训的教学经验。 然后呢，同时拥有这个华阳明大学的法学博士学位，在写作上也非常的优秀。然后，所以今年我们的第3轮的秋季写作呢，也是由2位老师继续来带领。然后呢，那我们现在就来先讲一讲我们的 writing 课程的设置。稍等。然后我们的 writing 课程其实设置的就是有2个方向，因为writing 课程其实对于我们思慧认为，我们和这个 Pep 老师都认为 writing 课程其实对学生非常的重要。那么呢，对，然后writing 课程呢，所以我们在3到6年级，我们给孩子们是在打基础的时间。那我们主推的课程呢是 creative writing， 然后到了7年级之上呢，其实所有的 competition 都从这个7年级开始，像 New York Times 的 editorial 在今年春天开始的 editorial， 然后还有这个 Scholastic， 这个我们也是非常 focus 的，我们今年夏天和秋天都会非常 focus 的这个 Scholastic training。那同时呢，我们也提供这种 one-on-one 的 training， 有些学生会去参加一些经济学论文的比赛，会去参加一些这个单独的论文的比赛，那么生物论文的比赛，那么我们的老师呢是可以提供这个 one-on-one 的 training 来提供这个有关这个相应的文体的这个1对1的修改。So yeah, so right now I changed to the English part. So hi Mr. Pei, and so could you tell us why writing is so important for the student, especially second generation Asian students? Yeah, I think a lot of parents know a little bit about it, but I think they want to learn about more. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. All right. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk to everybody about writing. To Chris's prompt, writing is really quite fundamental and foundational as a skill set for students of all grade levels. When I teach the younger grades 3 through 6, the focus is on creative writing. They get an opportunity to do some original poetry. They get to write some short stories. They get to write a short screenplay. They have an opportunity to do some arts criticism and writing criticism. And so really, I think the creative writing, the ability to not bind yourselves to particular rules and to allow yourself to have fun and to enjoy the experience of writing is really key for the early grades. And then for the later grades, when we get into the competitions, then we see a whole new range of skill sets that can be developed out of that. And we do prepare students for competitions. And as was mentioned, we had a finalist for the New York Times editorial writing contest, this last class that we had. But really the key for your students in terms of writing, for your sons and daughters, is to be able to enhance their creativity, to be able to enhance their critical thinking skills. Much like speech and debate offers opportunities for students to argue and to do so in an oral environment, written communication, especially the ability to articulate a position that you hold and to be able to do so respectfully yet appropriately in today's environment is really, really vital. So much of today's writing is not formulated for an audience or formulated for persuasion. The goal is to entice you to debate on social media. The goal is to do fragments of sentences that don't complete thoughts because so many people are determined to hold their own belief systems and forward those without consideration of others. So the ability to write well is really fundamental for all ages so that students can enhance their critical thinking skills, but also to be able to clearly explain, since they don't have the nonverbal opportunities that the debates, for example, do, to be able to explain their position and to inform others of their positions on a variety of different factors. One other element that I will say besides the preparation, and as a college professor, before I started teaching for Viswise, I also ran a writing center on a college campus. And so many college students don't have strong writing abilities. They don't know how to persuade through their writing, but they also don't have the technical skills to be able to articulate a position or to engage with the audience without the audience judging them on their lack of technical writing proficiency. That, what I mean by that is their syntax, their grammar, their command of the English technical side of things, which also needs to be proofed before it is submitted to a contest. And the same thing goes for college writing skills as well. So students will have not only their advanced opportunities to enhance their creativity and to have fun and to enjoy the process of writing, to be able to think critically and to be able to explain that persuasively to an audience, but also for them to know that their writing will have been technically proofed so that they know that they're putting their best foot forward. Those are many of the reasons why writing is so important for students. And if you can write well and you write an excellent college admission essay, you can get into some of the finest institutions in the world. But that is a critical piece that needs to be handled well. And these writing classes will help students to get there.
Yeah, thank you. So
Sure.
after Mr. Pape saying this, so that's what's our first for the age group, like grade 7+ students, is our Scholastic and the New York Times review contest writing bootcamp. So this bootcamp is I will say I saw the parents in the chat box, and she's asking like for his son is already grade 11 and he will be super busy during this time. So our class structure is divided by group lessons and a one-on-one session. So there will be 5 group lessons, each group lesson for 1.5 hours. So you can see on the group lesson, we have like a detail about which group lessons teaching what kind of article we're writing, we're learning, and like a short story, fiction, critical essay, and introduce a review essay. So from go through these 5 classes, the student basically learning all the really fundamental logic, fundamental knowledge about how to write a certain type of the certain type of the writing. And then on the next 5 times one-on-one session, the student will be work with Pape or Matt, or Mr. Pape or Mr. Matt, for one-on-one for each hour, 1 time. And student need to prepare by themselves about all the writing stuff. And then student will finish like a 1, 2, 3 piece in general, like a greater detail, and then submit to the Scholastic competition and or the New York Times review contest writing bootcamp. So we were kind of like hoping we hope like the student can go into this can apply this to competition, to contest. So later I will tell a little bit more detail about the 2 competitions. And also for this class, we have limited position because there is so much one-on-one session. Mr. Pape already pretty busy right now at this point. So yeah, so we only have like 20 student limited at this point. And yes, so that's will be total. So total group lesson hours will be 7.5 hours and 5 times, each time 1.5 hours. And the one-on-one lesson is based on the students, like how long he finished how long he get ready to finish the one writing piece, and then he can go to meet with Pape, meet with Matt to finish the one-on-one lesson, and then change editing the piece and apply it. And also so and here is for the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. So basically Scholastic Art and Writing Awards is the most like is the most longest and the most famous art competition, art and writing competition. So it's focused on 7th grade to 12th grade to creative piece. So you basically can apply the writing, or you can apply like a painting, a lot of things. They have a 29 art and writing category, but only for 7th grade to 12th grade students. Yeah, and that's the answer I think I should give to Penny, because Scholastic only focus on the age group 7th grade. So that's why we limit the class age is from 7th grade. So the students attending the class can apply to competition at the end. So that's why we're setting this class. We thought each competition, the writing for each competition basically need 2 hours, at least 2 hours one-on-one session. So that can give students enough time to polish their writing, to polish their article, and then apply the competition at the end. So both competition, the Scholastic art and writing competition begins in September and the end of December 20th, and only for students 7th grade to 12, and only for students in American and Canada. Include the students, or include the overseas student, like Chinese student who study in American is okay. But if you located in China, you are not you couldn't attend the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. And for the New York Times review context, is focused on the review stuff like books, music, movies, theater, TV shows, fashion, architecture, dance. They have a lot of characters, a lot of chapters to focus on, and the contest begin November to 12, but you can prepare ahead. And they have middle school groups and high school groups. So the contest will ask you to focus on one topic, no matter is on the New York Times or not on the New York Times, and they only require 450 words, and it must be original work. So that's the whole New York Times review context. Yeah, and I see. Yeah, and also for the grades 3 to 6, we have this really general fundamental class, creative writing, and is for the student who want to learn more about writing, and also for the students who really want to improve their writing, or want to know about the different kind of writing, and to maybe either prepare for their debate, for their public speaking. So the creative writing, we always thinking is the best fundamental thing to learn. So for grade 3 to 6, we want students have really solid foundation. Then we prepare 10 classes to introduce the students 10 different kind of writing style, from the poetry to screenplay to podcast to the criticism. And the start date is from September 16 to November 18. Is the total will be 10 class, and each class is 1.5 hours. From the East time is 7:30 to 9 p.m. and the West time is 4:30 to 6 p.m. And our class is kind of, we always want a small, limited class. So this class only will be a 10 people class. So yeah, and it's a really limited position. And and also that's 2 questions I want to ask Mr. Peng, why should students take this kind of course? I think you already answered a little bit before about it's really fundamental. It's a foundation. The writing is a foundation for future college application, for their debate, for their do the presentation things. But what we can expect, except the award, what the student will benefit from the course.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest factors is that students have the chance to work with me or with Matt one-on-one. And so you really get a lot of individual attention and an opportunity to take where you are at with your writing as a student and to be able to move forward, as opposed to what a lot of instructors may try to do, which is to get students to mimic a particular style. They need to know what their own writing voice is, and they need to be able to express that voice and not just fit a particular mold. I think that's why our students were so successful in the New York Times writing contest, and why I think our students will be so successful in the Scholastic writing contest as well, is because we want to take their unique creative energies and be able to work with them in order to make them the best possible writer that they are. But they also should not be expected to write in a way that they are not comfortable with or express themselves in ways that they just don't fit them. Because as they grow and learn, and to answer your question, except for the award, they're going to benefit from the class because they're going to learn how to better improve their writing, including on their own, because it's a dialogue. It's not just my changing their text to reflect what I think it should be. I will give suggestions, but the students have to fix their own writing. So I will give them feedback. They come back from that feedback. First of all, we talk through topics and outlines and which contest is best and which category is best for them. I look at some writing samples that they have. And then after they do the outline and they start writing, then I can give them specific feedback on their writing to improve their writing style. So by the time the class is over, they truly have something that is original to them, that is excellent, that is preparing them for competition, but also that they can proudly say, I wrote this and I can do this work with the help of an instructor, but I can also do this work on my own. I don't submit something only to have it completely rewritten, not to reflect the student's own voice, personality, and perspective. And so they're not really going to learn anything out of that experience. And so those are just a couple of the biggest benefits outside of an award. Of course, I cannot guarantee that we're going to repeat. Having a New York Times editorial award finalist was an exceptional accomplishment. It's very rare. I cannot guarantee that the next class will have that accomplishment. I can never guarantee that awards will be given in Scholastic. But what I can do is tell you that the students' writing is competitive. I think it's better than what's already on the website for the Scholastic winners in many cases. But more importantly for them, they will know how to improve their own writing and to be able to produce something that will allow them to learn from this experience into the future. And that's the biggest benefit of all, because at the end of the day, unless you want to hire me for 7 years until they get to college, they're going to have to do this on their own as well. And so that's really important for them as a takeaway, I think. And then just quickly to answer the question, because the 3rd through 6th is really the creative writing focus, and we want students to be able to express themselves creatively. But to answer the question about the 6th grader and the New York Times contest, even the middle school division of the New York Times editorial contest is very, very competitive. And so we think it's best to focus our attention on the slightly older group. But if indeed your 6th grader, for example, is exceptional and they are able to be successful in Scholastic, I can certainly work with that student and prepare them to submit something to the New York Times essay contest as well, as long as they meet the minimum criteria. But we don't want to create an environment where there's a bunch of, say, 6th graders. The writing skills and realistically, the development of the 6th grader compared to the 8th grader, just as an example, is very, very different. And so their writing skills also advance rapidly between 6th and 8th grade. So in very rare exceptions, would I consider a 6th grader for the New York Times contest. But again, if you have an exceptional writer, that's great. We can certainly work with them and talk to them about that experience. But we think Scholastic is the first and best step for those particular students.
Yes. And also a parent's question about it will be like too challenging for 3rd grader students and study together with the 6th grader students, and how you're gonna adjust for both different age groups together when we have the class combine them together? Yeah.
Oh, sure. There are quite a few differences there as well in terms of maturity as well as writing style. We'll do a lot of the exercises together as a group, and then we will break off into breakout rooms so that students who are a little bit older, who need a little bit more individual attention, or maybe are writing at a little bit more sophisticated level, then they'll have an opportunity to be able to work with us. When we have enough students in the class, we can also have a teaching assistant who will branch off. And I've got several teaching assistants who I draw from who are also excellent writers. All of them are college graduates. And so I've worked with them before, and they also really enjoy working with elementary age students. So it gives me an opportunity to separate out the class. So let's say, just say as an example, that there happen to be 5 third graders and then 5 sixth graders, and that just happens to be the breakdown. Then I would split those up frequently into 2 different groups, work with the sixth graders separately from the third graders, so that they get different kinds of experiences. But it's all about the individual class and where students are at. Great question.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, give me a second. And so basically that's all our Wistwise this autumn, like the writing course setting up for the as what I show everyone. Like, yes, our writing class structure is for the grades 3 to 6 is create foundation for the students, like make them like like the writing and make them experience all the different kind of writing. And for the 7th grade, as soon as students get into the 7th grade, we can prepare them to competition. And also all the competition is, especially for New York Times competition, is really really kind of competitive. So the student need to prepare take a lot of time to prepare, and want to get get out of from like usually each time. I think the editorial the total numbers of the students who applied is around 12,000, and for the summer reading, I got number is more than 40,000 students applying, because it's like a weekly competition. And so basically New York Times is more struggle a little bit for students, but Scholastic is a really good entry for all the competition. First, the Scholastic have more awards. So they have a area awards, they have a national-wise award, they have all different levels of awards. So the student maybe at the first time they can easily get maybe like a silver in the area, and then next they can give them like a confidence to keep attending the competition and keep writing stuff. And so right now we going to our public speaking and debating course. So we also have a simple like structure for the course. So first is public speaking and the debate foundation course. That's every student, most of the student entry are getting our classes from the foundation course. And after they taking the foundation course, they can go to intermediate course. So to practice more, to learn more. And then if students have more interesting to do the competition, to do the like NSDA, to do the public speaking, to do the debate, to attending like the Harvard invitation debate. So they can have like a private competition training with PAPE or with Mr. Matt. So that's all our structure, because most of the tournament is focused on the same school, or they have requirements of the same school from the same district, things like that. So the student must follow the rules at the first. And it's really unfortunate. Wistwise couldn't form a debate team to go into the most the debate. And so the question is like, what's the importance of like learning the public speaking and debate? I think a lot of parents like want to know that.
Oh, sure. And I see that the question was asked from the other end about the third graders. So just really quickly to talk about that. The creative writing classes really are structured to be a lot of fun. Even for the sixth graders, the fifth and sixth graders, the focus is really on having a lot of fun. We do a lot of group exercises that are age appropriate. They do a lot of sharing of their own writing. They tell stories. They craft their own original ideas and they formulate those into shared stories. So the focus of that class really is to be a lot of fun. I know that it's odd to imagine a college professor teaching, these younger grades, but I'm a very laid back instructor, easygoing style, and the students usually have a really, really good time and just have a lot of fun. And so that's the goal of that class, is to enjoy themselves while also learning at the same time. In terms of the public speaking and debate side of things, the students in the foundations class they spend part of the time learning how to give speeches. Those really help to build confidence. They help to keep students organized. They learn fundamentals of delivery, and they also learn how to be persuasive and form arguments, which is really important to the debate side. So we start with public speaking in the foundations class so that they learn really fundamental elements of how to create, craft, deliver speeches, both informative and persuasive speeches. And then we translate that into debate, and we focus the rest of our attention on debate. We do a lot of SPAR debating, which is spontaneous argument debates, but the class gets to decide what debate topic they want to do, and then we will do a topic debate based on what the class votes on. And so whatever the class wants to debate, the class will have an opportunity within reason. There are some exceptions, of course, but within reason, the students will be able to debate whatever topic the majority of the class wants to do. And we teach them those foundational critical thinking skills and analytical skills that they need in order to express themselves in a debate. Usually students learn a lot, and they also grow to be very confident. The intermediate classes really are focused on learning how to do either public forum or Lincoln Douglas style of debates, or both, depending upon the student's interests. And we teach them that format. We teach them how to do research, and we actually hold debates in those actual formats, again, on a topic of the class's choosing. So the intermediate debaters are really, really getting into the actual debates. We prepare students so that by the end of the intermediate debate class, they could participate in an NSDA tournament or a regular tournament competition. They may not be tremendously great at it right away, but at least they would know how to do it and how to learn from that experience if they wanted to debate right away. But the primary goal of that advanced debate, those individual tutorials, is to, again, much like with the writing, to work with students one-on-one to develop their greatest strengths. And different students have different debate strengths. Some students are very charismatic. They win debates because of their persuasive abilities and their charismatic ability to persuade an audience. Other students are very technical and proficient in their debate skills. They win on the flow, as we say. They win on the merits of each and every argument as it's laid out against the opponent, and they literally out-logic and outwit the opponent, and that's how they win. And other students still use humor, and they use some fun in order to disarm the opponent and to be able to use that to their advantage. Every student has different styles, and we want to play to their strengths and get them ready to actually compete in tournaments. And at the very least, we will get them involved in some NSDA springboard tournaments, which I help with at the NSDA. But again, if they want to go into competitions like Yale or Harvard or Stanford, we can certainly get those students ready to compete. Those are very, very tough, very large competitive tournaments. But if that's the goal, we can certainly get students to achieve those goals. Otherwise, they're going to benefit, whether they win or lose, they're going to benefit from their critical thinking skills, their argumentation skills, their ability to clash respectfully with an opponent. They're going to learn how to do research and evaluate sources. And I tell you, in today's politically charged environment, polarized environment, these skills are more necessary now than they ever have been in the past. Students need to learn to respectfully disagree with each other, not go to their ideological corners and never leave those. They have to be able to engage with opponents who are challenging their ideas with logic and evidence, and they have to be able to respond well in return.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Pei.
Sure.
And yeah, so that's after all the Mr. Pei talking about what's the importance like from the learning the public speaking and debate, and why should would student benefit from it. So we have like for this autumn we have 2 different classes. So first is the entry level, the foundation level, the public speaking and debate. Usually our students is limited by 12, so they can break down 3 different groups. They can 3 different teams, so they can training the debate, they can training the public speaking, and also Mr. Pei gonna bring other instructor with him to work with students. And I think that for this year, I think that during the springtime, one class I have 3 teachers at the same time. I think one class I have still 3 teachers, and I think total will be like 8 students. So it's really, we try to pair as much as possible teacher and with students with enough training. And we changed the class a little bit because the springtime we have more time, more weeks. So we have a 20 weeks class, but for the autumn time, we only have like 10 class and 10 weeks. So the class will finish before the final. The students have time to prepare their final test. And it's gonna begin September 18th to November 20th. And for the grade 3 to 6, and for grade 7, is 17th to November 19th, and both on Sunday and Saturday, to avoid the busy schedule about the student the busy schedule. And also we adjust the time a little. So usually most 3 grade are gonna can attend this class until 9, so they won't sleep way too late. Oh, and I think this part is my mistake. It's not daily class, it's a weekly class. And gonna have 10 weeks, and each week we have 1.5 hours class, and we select one topic, and the student gonna training around this topic for like for example, like class 3, we're gonna have TED Talks and the structure and the deliver, like how you gonna build up your TED Talks and how you're gonna build up your TED Talk structure and how to deliver it to the audience. That's what we want students to experience, what we want students to learn, that's it. And for intermediate debate, yeah, as Mr. Pei said, for the intermediate, we more focused on the students to Lincoln Douglas and forum.
Yeah, public forum.
Public forum debate. So it's more about the topic creation and the research progress, and then more training. So the student will have like a opposite set training and one set training and opposite set training and the crossfire training and non-crossfire training. It's a fun class. And and also the class is weekly. It's my bad here. And each class will, because we want to give students more time to training, more time to practice. So the class will, for intermediate debate, we will have 2-hour class, and usually it's still limited by 12 students. And the student gonna training which pair into the groups and training with each other, and even switch the groups. And so they can keep training with the teammate, and can experience a different teammate, bring different like a creation, bring different topic, bring different the side of the wheel for the topic. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what our whole class about. And for the more advanced level, so So couple students like I think for this year, for after the spring class, couple students reach to Mr. Pape to have the one-on-one session. So their structure is the student want to attend the public forum debate. So they need to keep training for each tournament. So they reach us to get like 20 hours one-on-one session. The student will training with Mr. Pape like each time 1 hour to prepare all the topic, all the like a training with the Pape. So about the public forum debate. And also we also do the team debate training. So for this autumn, we formed a team to attending the Congress, to attending the middle school Congress debate. So that team will have 6 students, and we're going to provide the private training with Mr. Pape for 10 sessions. So then the student will attend the Harvard, I think the Harvard Middle School Congress debate. So that's the whole structure I mentioned at the beginning. So we have foundation, intermediate. If the student really choose the debating this path, so we provide a private competition. Or if already students is already like experienced, already attending some debate course, and we really welcome students to send us like a 2-minute short video about their any topic they can choose about the debate. So Mr. Pape can review those videos and can decide the student should go to the foundation course or should go to the intermediate course. So we can always do that, adjust for the student, adjust for the parents. And yeah, I think that is all our tonight we want to share. And right now, I'm really welcome parents to join in our group chat. And also, like if you have any question, you can leave into the chat box or just open your mic. Let me enable the mic. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. You can directly ask Mr. Pape or me about the class. And also, I will share the link into the group chat. Yeah. And also later, I will share it into the WeChat. I think right now, you can't copy the chat box. So, so give me a second to change the chatting. Yeah, if any parents have a question, you can just unmute yourself and directly ask Mr. Pape or me, or you can leave the question in the chat box. Oh, and I
have a question. Yeah. Regarding the New York Times writing competition, is that only limited to students who goes to school in the US?
No, the New York Times competition the student can attend all over the world. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and for Stella, ask like for the grader, for 7th grader who is 12 years old, which contest or course are suitable, consider pretty and advanced writer for this age. So yeah, Mr. Pape, you can answer that.
Yeah, I would say that probably if they really are a solid writer, they could go into the older class. That would not be inappropriate for them. There's a wide age range there, but when we first meet with that class, I get to find out what kind of balance it is. And again, the role of the teaching assistant will be to, especially if there's a big age disparity, then that's the opportunity for them to work with the younger age group while I work with the older. Occasionally we'll switch off. We'll do some exercises together, some instruction together. If the student feels that it's too advanced for them, they also can request to move to the younger class, and that would certainly be okay as well. If you are really into the New York Times essay, but they're not quite ready for that, and Scholastic would be a better fit, assuming the criteria that they meet, then we can always switch them over to a different class.
Yes.
And then there was another chat. Lincoln Douglas debate. So students will be exposed to Lincoln Douglas debate in the intermediate debate class. If students as a group want to pursue Lincoln Douglas debates instead of public forum style debates, then we'll split it up so that they have the opportunity to do both. Most of my work, though, most of the students like to do public forum debate. By my experience, they really like working with a partner. They like having help with research and coming up with cases and having somebody to rely upon. But certainly students are able to do Lincoln Douglas style debates in there. Otherwise, most of my work with Lincoln Douglas debaters is done at that one-on-one advanced level. And I do coach some students specifically in Lincoln Douglas. And they choose to participate in that because they like that style or because they don't want to participate with a partner.
Yep. Yep. And there is a question for the grade I think it's for the debate, like the parents are asking like for the grade 7 to 12 students going to be in the same class. Yeah, usually will be in same class. But basically our class is for the intermediate class, like a 7th grade class usually is from 7th grade to 9th grade. So that's age range. That's our age range. So we really don't have like a lot like 11th grade or 12th grade student joining the debate course. And but if you have like extra requirements for example, like your child is already like 11th grade, but really want to improve the speaking, the debate, but and thinking our course is the student in our course is too young, so we can always shift to the one-on-one session, like maybe more director to training the student, to help the students, and they don't need to take a lot of time. So, we understand like for 11th grade, 12th grade students, they have a lot of tasks to doing, college vacation and more activities, so their time is really limited. So yeah, so for some special case, we do recommend have one-on-one session with Mr. Pape. So the time will be more flexible, and also the student can learn more like directly from the teacher. Yeah.
I think the other thing to keep in mind, there was one time when I had 2 high school students in, with the rest being more middle school. And so I just had them do Lincoln Douglas debates against one another. And they can either do, in that case, they did the same topic, but they could also do a different topic and kind of do their own thing. So if we have a couple of students who are a little bit older than the rest of the class, again, we can branch them off. A TA can work directly with them and they can get a lot out of the class. I will say that some of the material we cover in intermediate class is challenging for 7th through 9th graders. So it's not going to be easy for middle school students. There are a lot of concepts that they're introduced to that they may not be familiar with. And so I think it's really up to the student to be honest about it and to reach out and say, okay, this is challenging enough. I think I can stay with this because it's much harder than I thought it was going to be. But also you can say, you know what, I think I'd rather work one-on-one and branch off. That either one of those is certainly a possibility. But Chris is right. It's usually the younger grades that take that particular class, generally speaking.
Yeah. And also, I think Grace has more question is about, I think Grace is one of our students' parents, and they already took the intermediate class. So last year, like what's the class recommend for her child? Yeah, I think more is like, yeah, you can tell. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think intermediate, if you already had intermediate, it's probably time to do the one-on-one sessions. That I think that's probably the next step, unless the student felt that it was too difficult. or maybe they didn't learn as much as they had hoped. Maybe they didn't study and advance their skills as much as they had hoped. You can certainly retake the intermediate class, especially if the student felt that it was too difficult, or if they'd really like another opportunity to practice their skills. They will learn some things again, but at the same time, they'll learn a lot from just debating other students in the class, whether that's in spar or whether that's in more competitive situations. So it's not unheard of for students to take intermediate again, but otherwise I would recommend advanced one-on-one.
And and also our class also can always retake, because the topic for each class is different. We always use the newest NSDA, the tournament, the question list, the topic list. So the students always have new things to learn, new things to talk. So we're not gonna repeat like the same material like each class whole year. So if the students still like the debate and the public speaking, we do recommend you can retake the intermediate class and keep working on it. And if you're ready to begin to a tournament, and also Mr. Pep also gave like the notes to the students of what kind of tournaments they're okay to take, and all those things. And also I think for NSDA, they can begin to prepare from the middle school, right? From 7th grade.
That's correct.
From 7th grade, you can already begin to plan the NSDA training, and for the
actually even 6th grade, middle school for NSDA is recognized as 6th through 8th. So as soon as students finish 5th grade, they are eligible to participate. So it can even be at the 6th grade level to be able to participate in the middle school contest if they want to.
Okay. And for the parents, Mary, how to evaluate student if can I have one-on-one sessions? So we usually ask a student to have like a 2 minutes debate or public speaking videos if they have already if the student already attended some tournament. So you can send our assistant, the class assistant, so the student video, so Mr. Pep can watch it and evaluate, or the student can, based on the topics he or she read in the newspaper, and they can do that. The student can do that debate for like 2 minutes, and each choose one side to do the debate. And for the rate for a one-on-one session, it depends on how long you're gonna take. 10 hours, 20 hours is all different rate. So please reach out to us, and we will have more detail to provide. And and Mr. Pep, I think this parents ask how the writing class usually structured.
Let me read the rest of it. For instance, to prepare, does the student choose a topic? Then yes, correct. So it starts right away at the very beginning with the topic selection. Students will often bring multiple topics in, and they also need to have a sense of what category they want to participate in. If it's the New York Times editorial contest, we already know it's going to be an editorial, it's going to be a review. But the Scholastic actually has multiple categories. So students might write a collection of poetry, they might write a science fiction story, they might write a critical essay. So there's a lot of different things that they can do. So when I meet with students one-on-one, first thing is, what kinds of writing do you like to do? What have you done already for writing? Which category do you think you most want to participate in? And if they need an explanation of what the different categories are, I'll provide that. And then we talk about topics that are of interest to them that they want to go ahead and do a little bit of research on. And then they come back the second session with an outline of their work. And then we talk through the outline, make sure the structure is good. We talk through some, depending upon their level, some advanced strategies. I have some students who come in with a lot of writing experience, so they already have samples that they've done. And so I'll evaluate their sample work, give them feedback on that, and then say, okay, for this contest, you need to do this and make these adjustments to your writing in order to make it stronger or more proficient in this way. And then the rest of it is a dialogue. I just met with a poetry student this past week, and they're an exceptionally excellent poet. And so we played with formatting the entire hour. We just played with alternate formats for the poetry to have a different experience with the poetry. We played with repetition, we played with rhythm, we played with style. And so the student walked out of the experience with a completely different poem than what they had walked into the experience with. So it's all about the individual student. The goal is by the end of that last session, though, we need to have a piece of writing that is competition ready. So if that means that they need to do a little bit more revision in that last session, maybe we cut that session in half. All right, you've got your notes. We have let's do another half-hour session with your improvements, and then let's finalize this. And in a lot of cases, I'll actually sit there with the student and they'll submit the contest right then and there. And they'll fill out the forms and upload the material and everything. If that's what they choose to do, they certainly can do that. Yeah. So it just depends on every single student is a little bit different. Some students come in with no idea what they want to do, and other students have basically written part of the essay, and I have to tell them, you got to rewrite parts of it because you did too much for the first session. So it really does vary a lot.
Yeah, we always we always ask a student to be prepared at least some ideas before the one-on-one lesson. So they can have we can talk on something, we can work on something at the first. And also our TA, Reina, is working really hard to arrange each student's time one-on-one, one by one. So that's why our class only 20 student top. We can't, because there is going to be a 50, so almost 100 one-on-one sessions. So it's going to be a lot of work to arrange. So that's why we always ask a student, be prepared. If you can write early, just write it as early as possible. So on the first one-on-one lesson, you can just go through all your piece. So you maybe can apply a multiple article to the Skeletal and the one article to the New York Times review contest. So that's give you more chance to win the award thing. So that's another strategy. Because I heard one of the springtime students, even before the class begin, she already prepared the whole article ready, and we just directly begin to the one-on-one session with her. So that's really impressive students, and really like the writing. So I think all the I think any more questions? So we can,
And I know you wanted to keep it to just 1 hour, so But it looks like we've answered all of the questions.
Yes, looks like it. I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's good. So I will stay a little bit longer, and thank you, Mr. Pape, and thank you for tonight. And if parents have more questions, they can directly ask me in Chinese. And
sure, absolutely. All right, very good. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Pape. Bye.今天晚上也非常感谢各位家长。如果各位家长还有任何问题，可以直接用中文问我，或者用中文在这个 chat box 里打字。然后我刚刚应该打开了这个可以 copy 的这个功能，所以大家也可以直接在这个chat box 里 copy 我们的这个链接，然后课程的链接，然后比赛的链接都在这个 chat box 里面。我再发一遍，然后同时呢，我也会在微信群里分享我今天晚上的这个 slides， 然后呢也欢迎大家入群。然后呢，我们的秋天的课程呢，主要 focus 在这个演讲辩论写作上，然后思慧整个的课程也都 focus 在，因为商赛呀、投资竞赛呀都在火热的进行中。我们今年有将近50支队伍正在参加这些商赛和投资竞赛，所以呢， 也是非常的忙碌。那我们秋天的课程呢，更多的 focus 在这个演讲、辩论、写作上，同时我们还会有一些简单的基础课程，也欢迎大家关注我们的这个微信群，关注我们的网站。对，我会 share 这个我会 share 的我们的这个 slides， 然后待会儿会在微信群里直接 share 这个东西。然后也欢迎各位家长，这个有问题都可以 reach out 我们的这个小助手，然后呢他也会解答。如果然后就像刚才有很多家长说，我的孩子可能已经上了一些课程，我的孩子可能已经上了一些演讲辩论的课程，我不知道我的孩子应该去参加中级的辩论，还是去参加这个初级的辩论。那么我们都欢迎孩子们可以就是录一个2分钟左右的视频，然后呢我们会给到佩佩老师，那么佩佩老师会做一个判断，孩子更适合参加哪一个部分的。然后同时呢，我们也非常欢迎这个家长可以，就是孩子们可以自己组队去参加 Lincoln Douglas 的比赛，或者去参加这个Public Forum 的比赛。那么我们的老师也可以提供指导。基本上完成了我们的初级的这个演讲辩论课程的孩子都 capable 去参加一些local 的 NSDA 的竞赛。然后我们的课程都是是这样，然后正好我看到家长也有在问我，就是我们的课程都是有作业的，像写作课，那基本上除了课堂上的这些随堂的训练，那我们老师也会布置作业，让孩子回家去做一些，然后这个当然作业的量没有那么的多，因为毕竟还是针对3到6年级的孩子，那所以呢他会比较轻松一点，但是还是需要孩子去思考，然后孩子去写作。然后那么第2堂课我们会在课堂前上课的最开始的10到15分钟，然后 go over 所有学生的这个写作的这个作品，然后那再来讲述一些问题，那同时呢之后再进行这节课的任务。基本上这是我们的整个课程的安排。然后课程10人班，我们今天其实才是第一次宣传，所以应该10人班还是有10个人的名额的。然后对家长都可以来报名。对。然后还有关一些竞赛的问题，也都可以跟我来提问。像是刚才在年龄上，对有一些误解嘛，因为首先这个 Skeletal 一定是7至12年级，但7年级要求是满足13周岁。然后这个 New York Times 呢，它的确是有初中组，像6年级就可以参与。但是6年级像刚刚佩佩老师也解释了，6年级可能对于孩子来说，这个 New York Times 的这个比赛对于6年级的小孩来说可能难度比较大，而且竞争也非常的激烈，因为6年级到14年级是一个 section， 那其实相当于他和年龄更高的孩子去比较。然后同时呢，我们也了解到很多获奖的年龄其实在一个稍微大一点年龄段，比如说初中组的New York Times Review Contest 获奖年龄比较集中在13、14岁，然后高中组比较集中在16岁和17岁这个年龄组。那么我们都希望孩子不断的去训练，那么同时呢又不能说直接一下子就打击孩子的积极性。那么所以我们在今年秋天的课程里呢，是把2个比赛合并到了一起。那么呢，我们希望是满足这个年龄7年级到7年级13周岁的孩子。那么这样子的话呢，2个比赛都可以参加，然后2个比赛都能提交作品。当然，如果说孩子年龄没有满足其中的一个比赛，我们也可以单独的来指导，单独来修改，直接就上到这个 one-on-one session。那么直接孩子带着他的作品来，然后呢，我们直接1对1的修改就可以，也可以参加单独的比赛。如果这样子的也都欢迎家长来 reach out 我们，如果对这个感兴趣的话。然后家长还有什么问题也都欢迎来提问，如果没有的话，我们今天就可以到这里了。 好的，那看来差不多了。那非常感谢